In terms of Apocalypse, so I know that it's going to be in the 80s. We know that it's going to be in the 80s and a sequel to Days of Future Past with the first classers. But there's also been talk of introducing younger versions of other mutants that we've seen before, like Nightcrawler's been mentioned, Gambit's been mentioned. Have you guys sort of fantasy cast Storm or Jean or Cyclops?
We haven't. I mean, as a writer, I don't tend to cast while I'm writing. I mean, obviously, sometimes I know who the cast is going to be, like when I'm writing a sequel. So I know it's going to be Michael, James, Nick, and Jen. But in terms of new characters, we don't really have a sense of it, partly because if there were to be young, new versions, you'd be talking about people in their late teens or early 20s, and there aren't that many known actors in that age range. So in the same way that we sort of not discovered, but we certainly found Jen Lawrence right after, I think she'd only really been in as a big movie, Winter's Bone. The hope would be that there'll be a new young cool actor coming out of a Sundance movie or some independent film or, off the stage in New York or London.
Lupita for Storm?
She's a great actress. We haven't talked about casting for new characters in Apocalypse yet.
How beholden do you feel to stick to the comics? Would we have to see, or do we get to see Mr. Sinister make an appearance?
I think with all of these, it's the same, which is like you want to stick close to the sort of essence of the original books and then leave yourself open to tell the best film story you can tell. So there's a ton of great stuff in Age of Apocalypse, much of which we will incorporate into the movie. But to be honest, we're still at the stage of figuring out sort of what the story is for the film. So I wouldn't be able to commit to I wouldn't know who the main characters are going to be because we're still in those formative stages.